everyone, potpotsie here, and today we're going to be answering questions from MCPE News, the Twitter account. The other day, MCPE News tweeted and said question time, ask questions, any questions you have about MCPE, and people replied, and a bunch of these questions were randomly selected, and so I'm going to be answering them. So they'll pop up on the screen, you can read the tweet, we'll have a little background music from Minecraft, and you'll just get the answers. So the first one is from John Sanchez, and he asks, will there ever be sprinting? And sprinting is obviously a very important element when it comes to Minecraft. This is one of the most, popular questions in the entire community, and the answer is presumably yes, because of a couple of reasons. One, the developers have been adding elements into the game that make sprinting a possibility, which sort of hints to the future of sprinting being available. Sprinting, absolutely guaranteed, will be in the game eventually. There's not really a time frame for that one right now, that exact feature, so I can't really tell you, it'll be out tomorrow, I can't tell you it'll be out a month, a year, I can't tell you, but I'm sure it will be on priority very soon. It's a very important thing to a lot of people, so that's, we'll see about how that goes. I'm sure it won't be too much longer. So the next question is, when will we be able to play online? Which I actually kind of found funny. I started laughing when I saw that. I was like, oh, I guess some people don't know they can play online. So there's multiple options for this. You can either use external servers, which you use by pressing play on Minecraft Pocket Edition. You open up the app, press play, and press, I think it's edit external. So you tap edit on the top right, external, and you can add servers that way. Or if you've been invited to a Mojang realm, which is still in the alpha and beta stages, you can play on those as well. So that, playing online is already available in Minecraft Pocket Edition. Do you ever think or expect, I think he meant expect, there will be easier ways to change your skin from Tristan E. Ayala? Yes, eventually it will be available. A lot of people mentioned that when they do change their skin in the game currently, there is a little bit of a problem. When they play online with their friends, or whatever they do with their friends, everyone has the same skin. And there is a reason for this. The char.ping file in the actual Minecraft app. Basically, the game's programmed right now to take whatever ping you have of char in your device and to paste that on every single person. So if you change your skin, it's going to, from your perspective, it's going to change everyone else as well. From their perspective, they're using their skin, which is more than likely the default. So eventually, Mojang's working on this. It's sort of hard to work around completely, seeing that computers and iOS devices, Android, it's all different. Computer, you can upload the files. iOS doesn't quite work the same. So the solution will be created eventually, because obviously with online also comes the want to be unique, I guess you might say. So skins become much more important once you have the ability to play online, which has just come out recently. So yes, you can expect to see an easier way, in fact probably eventually a very simplified way, because Minecraft Pocket Edition makes everything really simplified. So when we'll be able to mine and use Redstone, by Alice Harvey. Mining and using Redstone rather will be available within the year. Supposedly, when I say within the year, that was essentially confirmed, but not completely. Looking at the schedule right now, I'm not sure if that's going to make it or not. But what I do know is earlier this year, I can't remember which developer was said, they did mention that this, Redstone would be a priority, and I don't know if it'll be 0.8.0 or if it will be 9.0, but I'm sure it will be within those updates. Also, background music is the classic music from Minecraft. The thing that makes it really feel like Minecraft is also being looked into as well. So it won't be much longer for that. They put the date as this year also. Well, they did say it'd be towards the end of the year for Redstone, background music, and Infinite Worlds are also obviously being looked into. They've been worked on a lot extensively to be added for the 0.9.0 update, which is coming up soon. Of course, 8.0 will be first. But anyway, so yes, eventually you will be able to. It will not be long until you're able to mine and use Redstone. The next question is, what's the biggest world MCP can generate? Well, currently, the game was programmed originally to generate 256 blocks by 256. So 256 by 256 is the maximum size, and not only the maximum, that's the default, that's the only size of an MCPE world. So it doesn't matter what device you have right now, 256 by 256 is the normal size. It cannot be smaller, it cannot be bigger. Of course, if you don't generate the world, sure, you could technically say it's smaller, but if you walk anywhere, it will continue to extend to 256. So that, of course, like I mentioned before, will be changed with the 0.9.0 update, in which infinite worlds will be included. So that's the answer for that. Delta asks, will 0.0 be submitted hopefully in mid-November if it all goes as planned? Yes, it will be submitted within this month. So the goal, really, if all goes as planned, as Delta says here, is what it is. It will be available by the end of November, but that's not 100% guaranteed. As the developers have talked about, they can't promise much anything, because, you know, tomorrow they might feel like they have a ton of progress, but then the next day they'll find massive amounts of bugs. So you basically just have to hope it's going to come out quickly, and they'll work their butts off to make sure it's ready. So you can expect it to be, you know, mid to end November. Don't expect it too early. Nothing earlier than middle, obviously. Takes a couple weeks for Apple to approve in the first place. Alright, so the next thing is, will Enderman ever be added? Yes, Enderman will be added. It has been confirmed to a degree that Endermen are a mob in the works, essentially. They will be available. You don't have to worry about those. You don't have to wonder if it's going to come. They will come eventually. Absolutely. Thank you, Team Flare Gumi, for asking about Enderman. Alright. Sarahi. When is the next update for 0.8.0? As we talked about sort of today, mid to late November is sort of the goal for the entire thing. If all goes as planned, that will be the launch for iOS, Android. And so, also the next question, when will Isaiah, wow, when will 0.8.0 come out? Okay, same thing. So I've talked about that. That was a really commonly asked question, as you can probably imagine. Tyler, when will we get Redstone and all the Redstone thing in Minecraft PE, like pistons, buttons, etc? Please answer. Alright, so we talked about Redstone a little bit. The goal initially, months ago, when they talked about the future of Minecraft Pocket Edition a little bit, Redstone was in it. It was high priority, and the goal was to get it out by the end of the year. So I'm guessing a lot of these features that were supposed to be out by the end of the year, you can see here we're in November, so there's 2 months left to actually figure all that out. Pistons and things, I'm not really so sure this will be out right when Redstone comes out. It's absolutely possible. I just don't think it's completely likely, but it could happen. So Redstone, we're gonna take it one step at a time. First, obviously, we're gonna take Redstone. Once that's available, once you can mine it, you can hold it, you can place it, and you've got Redstone torches, of course. Redstone torches, Redstone buttons, probably the basic fundamentals of Redstone will be available before pistons. So, you know, that's a bit more advanced mechanics that will be available at some point in the future. Again, I could be absolutely wrong. It could totally come out with Redstone. I just don't think it's very likely or plausible. So, Jacob Bannister asks, when Infinite Worlds and Caves are added, will it make it where you cannot play your old survival worlds? Absolutely not. You will be able to play your survival worlds, your old ones, everything that you've always played. You'll be able to play it forever. It will just, what they do is they program it so that when you get to the border of your small little world that you have right now, it will expand and generate with caves and infinitely. So that small chunk of land that you built a long time ago will still exist, but it will be caveless, and it will, you know, that's it. So yes, you can play all your old worlds, it will not delete them, and they will be absolutely playable, and they will expand as well. That's always been the case for Minecraft. It's always worked the same, probably always will. Caesar Peralta, when the update, same thing, we've mentioned this multiple times, so I'm going to skip that. And you know, I'm presuming that you've watched up to this point, so hopefully you know kind of the answer to that. Matthew Goff, will old worlds be able to become infinite? Yes, actually that's funny, I just talked about that a little bit. So yes, they will expand automatically. The small world, again, I'll reiterate the idea and the concept of how it will expand. The small 256 by 256 world you have right now will remain intact, okay? So once you get to the edge of the world that you have now, it will no longer be an edge in 9.0. Obviously, it will expand forever, infinitely, and it will expand with all the new features, such as caves and things like that. And so yes, it will be absolutely infinite in 9.0, playable. They will not be deleted unless you delete them, of course, but that's not what we're talking about. So we'll move on to the next question, which is by Braden McKay. Will there be flint and steel in Creative in 0.8.0? I'm not hearing for shit. So with flint and steel, it hasn't been completely 100% confirmed in creative mode, obviously, with what we're talking about. But from what we've seen, and from images and things like that, it looks to be the case. We had an image uploaded by a developer, I can't remember which one it was, and it showed a picture of Minecraft Pocket Edition 0.8.0, obviously it was an earlier version of it, and it showed flint and steel on the hotbar in creative mode. So it really seems to be something that will be available. Of course, like I said before, we cannot absolutely be sure, but that's really what it's looking like. So let's just hope that that's the case. It's more than likely, just to be completely honest with you. The next question is, why can't we have XP and experience is what he's talking about, and more PC things in Minecraft PE version like horses, mineable redstone, also jungle biomes. So I can explain this as best as possible. Some people don't understand the tech terms, and so I'll make it as simplified as I possibly can, really. XP. Now, things when it comes to more things like this, talking about adding more features and such, those sorts of things. It's not just about time. Okay, it's also about resources when it comes to the actual tech device. For example, the PC version, just kind of remember the numbers. You don't have to know what they mean, but the PC version requires a minimum of 1 gigabyte of RAM. Okay, which is 1024 MB. Alright, you got that? Good. 1024 MB is how much the PC requires a minimum. Most mobile devices, iPod Touch 4th Gen, for example, I'm going to use mainstream iOS devices. iPod Touch 4th Gen has 256 MB. That's a quarter, that's 25% of what the minimum on the PC version is. And that's what's required on the PC version to make Infinite Worlds work. And now we're asking developers, hey, we want you to use half the RAM. Things like iPad mini, iPad 2, iPad 1, I believe iPad 3, all have 512 MB of RAM. So they've got half of what the PC version requires as a minimum. So you're asking for a lot of power from a small device that just does not have all the resources completely needed. Now, with that said, they've been optimizing like bloody heck to make it work. For example, memory leaks is what they've been talking about with Infinite Worlds. When they go make Infinite Worlds, they have memory leaks constantly. We've only got half the RAM to work with, as on the PC version, and so there's going to be some serious issues. They're optimizing, trying to make it work. It's going to work, but I'm just pointing out there's a lot of barriers in the way of technology advancement that is making things unavailable. Things like XP, horses, mineable redstone. Mineable redstone, along with XP, those kinds of things are petty elements that need to be added, is all it is. It's not because the device can't handle it. People also have to realize that the developers have to prioritize time. You know, they can't. If they can add all those things tomorrow, they would. They don't have. They're working on it. They have to do things one step at a time. So 0.8.0 will come out with some new things. 9.0 will come out with brand new things. Infinite Worlds, possibly jungle biomes. That's the thing about biomes as well. People always ask, why can't we have biomes? Why can't we have jungles? Things like that. In a 256 by 256 world, that does not work. For those of you that play the PC version already know that jungle biomes are generally far larger than that. So your whole world would be a jungle, which would be stupid. So, biomes are not going to be even an option until we've hit the right point when it comes to optimizing and making Infinite Worlds come. So biomes are not really a likely option at all, because it'd be useless until 0.8.0 at the least. So, that's all that really goes to that. So let's go to the next question. Bethany Peace. Will all the questions get in the vid? My questions have been posted on other account. I'm Splashy Tunic 6. No, I guess not all the questions will, obviously. We posted most of them in here. There's just a bunch of ones randomly generated, along with duplicates. People, I'm sorry if your question was not answered. We'll be doing another one of these soon again, and we will go through and manually select questions to make sure that we don't redo the entire questions and answers. There will always be classic things like when will 0.8.0 be out, things like that. But we'll try to get a new, a whole new section of what's questions from and things like that from tweets. So we'll have another one of those coming out really quick. So just make sure you're always watching MCPE_news on Twitter. If you're not following, be sure to follow, because it always comes out with the news, the greatest news about Minecraft Pocket Edition, and a lot of concept images of the future of the game. I believe we're getting really close now. Alright. So, this question. Does Invisible Bedrock have a hitbox? If so, what's the level of the hitbox? If this question doesn't get answered, then you officially suck. If you can't answer a question about MCPE, that's sad. Okay. Alright, so basically he's really baiting me, because he's trying to insult me and say, if you can't answer this, you have, so that way I'll answer it. So I'm going to give in this time and actually answer the question for you. Now, you haven't been very specific, to be honest, MCP Graphics, GG, and G916. You haven't been super specific in exactly what you mean, but I'll try to understand what you're saying and answer accordingly. So, does Invisible Bedrock have a hitbox? So I'm presuming you're talking about the bedrock around the world, as well as on top of the world, etc. So, it is invisible. A hitbox. I'm not exactly sure what you mean. I presume you're talking about when you break a block, it has a certain hitbox, some sorts of hit points before it's broken and you're collectible. Invisible Bedrock is absolutely not breakable. It is not collectible. Nothing. It's Invisible Bedrock for a purpose, to keep you out of the boundaries. On Minecraft Pocket Edition, the world does not generate beyond 256 by 256. So having Invisible Bedrock around the entire world is for your safety, so you don't fall off of the world and get all angry because your stuff, it comes out of you because you're dead. You can't just jump off the world. They've boxed you in to make sure it's safe. Once Infinite World is out, Invisible Bedrock is essentially useless, except even on the top of the world, the sky. You can only have such a great height, a certain level of height. I don't know what the number is right now. I know 256 was a standard at some point in time. I don't know what the exact number is right this moment, but it will be changing rapidly, I'm sure. Yes, there's going to be Invisible Bedrock on top. No, you cannot destroy it. Bedrock itself doesn't really have a hitbox. You can hit it, and you can see textures coming out of it and things, but it doesn't actually break. It's not possible to destroy Bedrock, to collect it, unless you're in a creative mode. And if that's what you're talking about, no, you cannot destroy Invisible Bedrock in creative mode on Minecraft Pocket Edition at this time. It may be an option in the future. It's just that's not clear, because it's not really too relevant to the game currently. So that's it. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the questions and answers. Again, this was from MCPE News on Twitter. So @MCPE_news stands for Minecraft Pocket Edition News. And we tweeted the other day, asked for question time, and here you are. So thank you, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day. Keep your eye out on the Twitter account so that next time this happens, you can enter too.